Okay, we'll begin lying on our backs in Shavasana. Feel all the places where your body meets the floor. Sense your overall level of prana, life force, energy. Acknowledge your mood. Start to watch the breath coming in and going out. Let's just rest here for about 1 more minute. Breath breathing you, following each breath, and one breath at a time. And now we'll begin our movement inquiry with little motion for your SI joint. So keeping your legs on the ground and drive one heel away from you, sliding the back of that leg away from you. Have the toes pointing up when you do this. And then relax that leg and do the same thing on the other side. Sliding the back of the leg away from you. Feel how the pelvis shifts. You can pause at the end range for a moment and continue alternating legs. And now try initiating from the pelvis rather than from the heel. Sliding one side of the pelvis down away from the ribs. Pulling the toes back, stretching the back of the leg. Maybe even feeling the stretch through the lower back. If you're feeling this as compression in your lower back, it's likely that your ribs default to flaring up toward the ceiling, and then you kind of can't wait to bring your knees into your chest to stretch that out. So within this movement, if you're feeling that compression or sensation, strong sensation through the lower back, notice if the ribs are flaring up bottom of the rib cage kind of popping up toward the ceiling, and try to keep it down. And see if that changes your experience of this movement, particularly through the lower back. Really common, I see it all the time. And just about one more time each side. Coming eventually back to stillness at center. Now working with the Baddha Konasana slide, sliding the outer edge of your foot along the ground to bring the foot toward the pelvis. And then sliding the leg out straight. Alternate legs. Keep the leg heavy. No lifting, just sliding. Go slow, you might want to pause. Once the foot is as close to the pelvis as it's going to get, you don't have to force that. Keep attuning to sensation, fine-tuning your awareness to sensation. And now both legs at the same time. So the end range will be soles of the feet all the way together and knees wide. And then legs straight again. Next time the feet come together in Baddha Konasana, pause, let's meet there. And then keep the legs in this shape, but bring them up off of the ground. See if you can reach to hold the outer edges of your feet or get whatever you can. Maybe it's your ankles, maybe it's your shins. Try bringing the elbows a little closer to the sides of the body, which will bring the feet a little closer to the chest, potentially. That's the direction I'm suggesting. Let the shoulders be as heavy as they can. Stretch the inner knees away from each other. Option to lift the head and the upper back, a little bit of it maybe, bringing the head a little closer to the feet. Keep hold of your feet, release your head back down, and then let the weight of the feet go into the hands. So the elbows will straighten, You're not trying to bring the feet in anymore, but you still have a hold on them. Just allowing the weight of the feet to go into the hands. You can still experiment with stretching the knees away from each other. Maybe even finding a little push-pull, hands into feet, feet to hands. Now let's release the feet to the ground. Feet are planted about hip width apart. Figure 4, placing left ankle on right thigh up close to the knee. Left hand to left thigh, gently push the left thigh away with the left hand. Stay here or bring the legs in. Hands can come around the right thigh or shin. Flexing the feet, particularly the left foot. Continuing to move your left knee, left thigh away from you as you draw your right knee in toward the chest. Breathing into the back ribs. Keep the legs in this shape. Just bring the right foot back down to the ground. So release the hands. It's a little rewind. And then we'll just tighten our cross. So sliding the left leg, left on top of right still. So now there's no space between the thighs. You can open arms out to T and lower your legs to your left. Rock to the inner edge of the right foot. Keep your right shoulder down. Come back up to center. And go in the other direction. So rock to the outer edge of the right foot. And release the legs to the right. Now left shoulder stays down. Go side to side. Sometimes the transition feels like it's kind of straining. So you can squeeze your glutes and your core, your abdominal muscles in particular, to help bring the legs back up. Feel welcome to stay on either side for a breath or two. Make your way back to center. Left leg still tightly crossed on top of right. Now drawing the knees in toward the chest, and hands can help or not. Stay here or slide your hands down toward your feet. Drawing your heels toward your outer hips. Feet are flexed here, so we don't want to collapse the inner ankles with the pulling of the hands. Release, unwinding the legs, bringing the feet to the ground comfortably. Second side, right ankle on left thigh, close to the knee. Right hand on right thigh, applying some away pressure. Breath is in the foreground of awareness. Stay right here or bring the legs in. You could hold your left shin or thigh. Continuing to move the right thigh, right knee away from you. Keep the legs in this shape for a moment, bringing left foot back down to the ground. And then just slide your right leg into that tighter cross of the thighs. So right leg is draped over the left. Arms can come out to T or cactus. Rock to the inner edge of your grounded foot. So legs lower to your right. Left shoulder stays down. And then rock to the outer edge of the foot, lowering the legs to the left. And right shoulder stays down. Side to side. So this could be a real backbendy experience, which is fine. But if it's feeling pinchy or compressed in your lower back, again, attending to the bottom of the rib cage. Bringing it down away from the ceiling. So usually the rib cage flaring creates back bend in one part of the spine and not others. It's not an even back bend. It's one junction of vertebrae that's taking all the load of the back bend. So bringing the ribs down will help to distribute that back bend or spinal extension a little more evenly. pausing wherever it feels good, or continuing to be more dynamic, moving in a slow, steady pace. Eventually coming back to center, keeping the legs crossed, draw the knees in, hands can help. Maybe sliding the hands down to the feet, heels toward outer hips, feet flexed. So we're not supinating, or that would look like overstretching or stretching the outer ankle and shortening the inner ankle. Gently release. Let's slide the legs out straight. Coming back to Shavasana. Watching and listening inwardly. You might already notice some different sensations, some tingling, some space, heat, changes in temperature from when you began. So just be open to that potential without any expectations. Okay, arms out to T or cactus again. I'm just doing cactus because I haven't made enough room for myself. T is fine. And then let's place the left foot on top of the right thigh, just above the knee. So the sole of the foot is planted and the knee is initially here pointing up. We'll keep the left shoulder down and bring the left knee over to the right to twist. Coming back to center with your inhale. And into the twist with the exhale. The goal is not to get the knee down to the ground. The goal is to rotate the spine, which means the shoulders have to stay fixed because the hips, or the pelvis is moving. Try not to be forceful. We get really forceful in twists often. I'm not sure how much that serves us. So we're going for a moderate amount of sensation here. You should still be able to breathe and keep your face relaxed. Once you're back to center, switch sides, left leg straight, right foot on the top of the left thigh, just above the knee. So when we start, the knee points up. And then as you exhale, bring the leg across to find the spinal twist. Keeping your right shoulder down. And this might feel totally different, right? It's just a slightly different setup than you're probably accustomed to doing in your spinal twists. And see if you can just explore those different sensations rather than having it to be the way it always is. So we want to stimulate as many of our tissues as we can. And when we do something the same way every time, we're stimulating the same tissues every time. You might feel like two different people. At the end of that one, whenever it is for you, stretch the legs out, bring your arms down alongside your body. Just rest here for a moment. Breath breathing you. Bring your knees in toward your chest and then cross at your shins and try to take hold of your feet. Again, feet are flexed here. We don't want to yank the feet so that the ankles are distorted. So what would the shape of your ankles be if you were standing? Keep that. Try drawing the elbows down toward the floor to bring your legs closer to your body. Try straightening the legs just a bit. We're not going for fully straight, but legs getting a bit straighter, feet aiming up toward the ceiling. So if you go slow, you'll most likely, hopefully, feel a place where you're like, oh yeah, I want to just take a few breaths here. So finding that place, continuing to breathe. Bend the knees, switch the cross of the legs. Crossing as best you can at the shins rather than the ankles, because then how are we going to get the feet? I know that's a hip thing, so just do the best you can, drawing the legs toward you, elbows toward the floor. Breathing into the back of the rib cage. Straightening the legs, maybe just a little bit, maybe 2/3 the way, feet up toward the ceiling. Goal is not to get the legs completely straight. Goal is to find sensation. Now let go of your feet and straighten your legs and bring them just to vertical. So not trying to get the legs overhead. And let's try to keep the sacrum on the ground and find neutral pelvis. So you want to make sure you've got at least a little bit of space between your lower spine and the floor. And then, so it might not even be vertical. The legs might need to be further away to find that neutral pelvis. So you can take hold of your thighs and press your thighs into your hands and provide equal resistance, pulling your thighs in with your hands. So we're just in Supta Dandasana. Spread your toes, push through your heels. If it's available, open the backs of the knees. There's been this big misconception in yoga about like always keep a bend in your knees. You can if your hamstrings are too you're feeling too much sensation in your hamstrings, but the micro bend cue was originally for people who hyperextended their knees, and then it just became something that was applied across the board. So the knee joint should fully straighten. So just keep that in mind. That's something to explore in your own practice. A couple more breaths here, rooting the sacrum down into the floor. I'm not saying fully straighten your legs if that means your hamstrings feel like they're about to pop. And then from here, release feet to the ground, Supta Baddha Konasana, feet together, knees apart. We won't be here for too long, but if you're feeling a lot of tension or strain in your inner thighs, you can slide some pillows or blocks underneath your outer knees. See if you can kind of walk your upper spine a little bit more away from your lower spine, letting the lower back drop down. Breathing into the back of your lungs in particular. Slide the feet away from you to straighten your legs. Coming back into Shavasana. Notice what you notice. Okay, from here, bend your knees, roll to your side, and come up to sit. So this is one of those rare classes, for me anyway, where we're going to do a lot of sitting. I don't like to do a lot of sitting normally, but once in a great while. So that said, any seat can be made usually a little more comfortable and more accessible by sitting up onto the edge of a blanket or even a bolster. We're going to begin in Baddha Konasana. Soles of the feet together, knees apart. So sitting on a blanket or a bolster, if it feels, usually the indications you would need to sit up on something are if you're rocking back, right? And I have a rounded spine, it can't be fully upright. Or if the knees are really high up, because that's tightening the hip flexors. So if you sit up higher, then the knees can drop down and you can lift up out of the spine. So here, we're gonna try a kind of different move, go figure. So let's have the hands palms up underneath the ankles. And just see what works for you. Some of this stuff is awkward probably or different, and just make it work for you. You know, try what I suggest, and if you're like, this isn't working, then follow your inner wisdom and see what works for you. So we're in this Baddha Konasana or cobbler's position with the hands palms up underneath the ankles. And we'll alternate lifting the legs. See if the leg can be heavy, so it's passive range, and the hand lifts the leg. It could just be like, I can barely get it off the floor. That's okay. Or maybe you get it high up off of the ground. And you can let the pelvis shift as you do so. You don't need to be static. You can get a little shift side to side. We're going to start to, I'm going to keep lifting, but we're going to start to lift the foot and see if you can bring like the foot that you're lifting a little bit toward the opposite knee and then back down. So I'm lifting the foot, maybe aligning it with the lower shin and then bringing it back down. And each time you lift the foot, bring it a little higher up, so to speak, the opposite leg. So maybe you're at mid shin, maybe you're still content and feeling sensation with the ankles stacking. Maybe you're bringing the foot more toward the knee. Maybe just one or two more times. Maybe planting the foot you're lifting outside the knee. Bringing it back down. That's it. One more time. Each side. And then coming back to Baddha Konasana, soles of the feet together. You can take that more normal grip, what I would call more common grip, around the fronts of the ankles. Maybe sliding your feet a little closer in toward your pelvis, maybe sliding your feet a little further away. Draw the shoulders down, lift the chest up, stretch your inner knees away from each other. Brush your spine with breath. Release that work. And let's try to come into that Gomukhasana position. We were in it on our backs with left leg on top of right. If it doesn't work to have both legs in that shape, you can have your bottom leg straight. That's it. Yeah. So I would sit up more if it's impossible, and it might become a little more plausible. We're going to place hands on top of the feet and press the hands down and kind of rock forward to lift the hips up. And then shift back. So pressing the hands into the feet to lift the hips. And then releasing, well, it's the pelvis, releasing the pelvis down as you lean to more upright. So we're in this Gomukhasana shape, right? With the feet by the outer hips, leaning forward, leaning back. And then we're going to find a little pendulum of the hips. So we're going to, let's press the hands down, shift your hips over, your pelvis over toward one heel, and then the other. I'm kind of leaning forward here, everybody. Shifting the hips toward one foot and then the other. You could do it upright. I think it's a little harder. It's a little more intensive on the arms. Try that just one or two more times. So pelvis is airborne, shifting side to side. And then we're gonna add a little shoulder dip. So if you can fold forward a little more, drip the shoulder down. So as the hips go to the right shoulder dips down. And then as the hips go to the left shoulder dips down. You can add gaze if you want, looking over the upper shoulder. One more time. And then back to center, sitting bones coming back down to the ground, interlacing fingers between the toes. We're going to work them down as best you can. If this is difficult for you, if you can't get your fingers all the way down to the bases of your toes, please start doing this regularly. It's really important, especially cramming feet into shoes that, taper when your toes spread, affects everything. It affects your balance, it affects your hips. Breathing here, shoulders relaxed. And then release. And let's switch. So whatever leg you had on top, have the other leg on top. Remember, you can have your bottom leg straight. It might not look like me, look like you. Okay, we're having the hands on the top, or on the soles of the feet. If it's just one leg, you can still make it work. Pushing the hands into the feet to lift the pelvis and then releasing back down. A little lean and release. And then we'll add a little pendulum here. So lift the pelvis and see if you can shift it over to one heel and then over to the other heel. You might be feeling this in the outer hips. For me, I'm feeling it on the lower side, like a waist, one side of my waist, big time. Adding the shoulders, letting the shoulder dip down. Looking over the upper shoulder, adding the gaze. That's it. Come back to center, release the pelvis down. One more time, interlace your fingers between your toes. Try to work the fingers all the way down. Be with your breath. Release your fingers. I'm going to try a little transition back and forth into this shape, and then we're done with this Gomukhasana shape. So if you have your right leg on top, you'll plant your hands off to your right, off to your left. Right leg on top, hands plant off to your, oh my gosh, I'm like an idiot right now. If you have your right leg on top, I'm going to mirror, you'll plant your hands over to your left, and then you want to lift Wow, I've done this a billion times and I'm having a little brain problem here. That's it. Hands to the left. We're gonna lift the knees, lift the hips, and walk the hands all the way around until you're stacked in the other direction. Sorry for the horrible cueing. And then we're just gonna try to go back the way we came. Take your time. Clearly, I just demonstrated that it's a brain thing. Used to do it all the time. Okay, so whatever leg is on top, bring your hands off to the opposite side. Lift up onto your feet and then just spin on your feet. Walk your hands all the way around until you're down again on the first side. Yoga is not just for the body, it's for the brain and everything else. Cool. Okay, and then straighten legs out in front. Dandasana. Make sure you've got some concavity in your lumbar spine. If you've got a convexity, then sit up on something so you can really bring that lower spine in to find your natural lumbar curve. Okay, we're planting the right foot to the outside of the left knee. And then if it's available, slide your foot back more toward your outer hip. Usually we keep it in line with the knee, at least that's what I cue, but we're doing something a little different. So we're gonna bring the foot back more if you can. And then we interlace the fingers around the shin. And try squeezing your knee in toward your chest as much as you can. So like my foot leaves the floor a little bit, no problem. And then just release. Let's try that one more time. Squeezing the knee in, so we're getting that hip flexor engagement. And then releasing the foot down. Adding on, squeeze the knee in. And then let the knee drop down and find a little fold. That's it, any amount. Drawing the knee in, lifting the chest up. Feel that deep squeezing action. If you're feeling pinchiness, don't do it so much. And then let the knee drop down and find a little fold. A couple more times, hugging in and folding forward. That's it. Yeah, perfect. And then the next time you let the knee drop down, we're in this kind of half Gomukhasana, and you might be able to tuck your foot a little closer to your outer hip, right? So we were here, now we're here, and folding forward. Hinging at the hips, so keep your head in line with your spine. Some of us feel like we can't get anywhere, so we tuck the chin a lot, and then we feel like we're folding, but really try to make it come from the hip hinge and keep your chest lifted. You can find a little sway or rock side to side, so we're not static. Good, coming back to center, keeping right leg on top of left, coming back to upright spine. Now take your right arm and stretch it out in front of you. Reach it up toward the ceiling. We're coming into a twist here, circling the arm up and back, bringing the hand down. You can have your left hand on your left knee, and you're twisting to your right. That's it, you got it. Crown of the head reaching up toward the ceiling. Chest really buoyant. You can imagine you've got helium-filled balloons underneath your collarbones, so lifting from there. Unwind your spine. Coming back to Dandasana, both legs stretching out in front. Okay, second side, left foot to the outside of the right knee. If it's available, slide the foot back more toward the outer hip. Interlace your hands around your shin. Really squeeze the knee in. The foot can move or not. I saw some of you doing that. That's fine. But we're really going for that hip crease, hip flexor engagement. And then just release back foot down to the ground. Try that a couple more times. Squeezing in, chest rising, and then release. Adding on, squeezing the leg in. And then as you bring the foot down, you can let the knee drop and find a little hinge. Hugging in, lifting up. Releasing the knee down, folding forward. Couple more times. I'm not trying to find a mega forward fold here. Just a little bit of a shift in the other direction. And then you can keep that knee dropping down and maybe bring the foot a little closer to the outer hip. So again, we're back in that half Gomukhasana, just having the bottom leg straight. And now maybe finding a little bit deeper of a hip hinge. Chest staying lifted. Head in line with the spine. Maybe a little shift sway side to side. You might end up finding a place where you're like, oh yeah, I want to stay and breathe right there. Coming back to center, upright spine, keeping your left leg as it is. It'll be left arm reaching forward. Or whatever leg is on top, it'll be the same side arm reaching forward. So just make sure you're on the right page here. Sweeping the arm up, we're coming into the twist, circling the arm back behind you till it reaches the floor. Your other hand can come to the knee or the thigh if you like. Breathing here in the twist. Unwind your spine. Stretch legs out in front. Dandasana. Okay, this one's a little different. We're gonna kind of, what do I want to say here? Tap the knees. Yeah, so you could imagine like you're dribbling a basketball with the backs of your knees. And if you try to muscle it, it doesn't work. So it's one of these loose and free kind of moves. So we're seeing how much we can let go of the knees and the thigh muscles and the calf muscles, which might be hard. Just a little bit longer. You might feel awkward. That's okay, it's part of learning. Good, and then let the legs come back to stillness. Now that very first move we did was an SI release. It was a shift of the hips. It was a reach of the legs. We're going to do it here in seating. You might want to scoot to the back of your setup so that you have some room because it's going to be like a little sit bone walk. So we're lifting the right side of the pelvis and shifting it forward. So that right leg is now a little in front of the left leg. And then same thing with the left side. Lift the left side of the pelvis, shift the leg forward. That's it. And then see if you can walk to the front of your setup or till you run out of room. Feeling that movement through the pelvis. And then walk back. Get all the way to back where you started. And then we're going to go one more time. And you probably already saw like the upper body and the arms getting involved to make it work. So exaggerate that. So as the leg comes forward, send the arm forward. You can channel your inner boxer or peaceful warrior, martial artist. Go back. That's it. Nice energy through the arms. Good. And then releasing the arms. And let's hold the elbows if you can behind your back. Draw the shoulders down, lift the chest up, and now find your hip hinge forward. Press the thighs down, flex your feet. Keep the chest lifted. So the arms in this position is not permitting us to roll the shoulders forward or create like a dive. So it's not spinal flexion that we're after. It's hip flexion for this moment. So we really want to get that pelvis to tilt forward to make that happen. Last couple breaths here. Root to rise, release your arms. Coming back to Baddha Konasana, soles of the feet together. Now we did a little rock earlier. We're going to exaggerate that rock. So rocking to one side to plant the other foot, knee points up. That's it. And then other side. Go side to side a few times. Just kind of hit the pause in that shape with the one leg vertical. The next time your right leg is vertical, pause here. We'll take the right arm and you can kind of lean off to your left, right arm underneath your right leg. That's it. So we're getting the palm down and then see if you can find your hip hinge, chest forward, folding to maybe bring the shoulder a little lower or a little deeper, so to speak. I'm using my left hand to kind of stabilize and help send the chest forward. And now maybe keep your right arm where it is and see if you can open back toward Baddha Konasana. So soles of the feet together and that right knee dropping down. Good. Shifting back so that the right leg is vertical. Remove the arm. Try the other side. Left foot is grounded. Right leg, Baddha Konasana. Use your right hand and you can lean as much as you need to. We're threading the left arm underneath the left leg. Palm is down. Keep the chest moving forward, maybe folding a little bit further. Maybe inviting the left knee to come back down. So you shift a little more to center, and that left hand might slide a little further away from you. Keep a micro bend in the elbow if you're getting elbow pain. Nice work. Shift over to your right to remove the arm. Bringing the legs back to Baddha Konasana. And then we'll lift both knees. Bring the arms underneath the legs, palms down. See if you can fold and maybe walk your hands a little further away from you and stretch your knees away from you. Chest moving forward. Knees can rise up as the arms slide out from underneath you. And then from here, I feel like we should do at least a little bit of standing work. So let's take the blanket off or grab your yoga mat. Enough sitting. That was a lot. We'll come all the way up to stand. If you have blocks, you might just want to have them handy. You never know when the earth is going to feel too far away. Actually, let's grab a block. Does everybody have a block? Awesome. Let's use one of our blocks here. We'll take the block between the hands, finding your mountain pose. Bending the elbows. So elbows are kind of pinned to the sides of your body. You have the widest setting between the hands. I'm just standing. Feel into your feet. Keep your elbows bent and try bringing your arms up. And do your best to not let your elbows splay wide. So elbows in and elbows up, and we're holding the block. Adding chair pose, bend your knees. Keep hugging the elbows in. That's the hard part, maybe. Okay, you can set the block aside or down. And let's step the left foot back and lower the left knee down to come into a lunge. Pick up your block, same setting here, wide between the hands, bend your elbows right alongside your body, hug in, scissor the hips so you feel stable. And then keep the elbows bent, but bring them up. And keep them shoulder width apart if you can. Okay, maybe keep your arms as they are. Step your back foot forward to chair pose. And then set the block down. Step your right foot back, right knee down. And one more time, we'll grab the block. Be sure squeezing back glute, front foot dragging back. Hands on either side of your wide block, elbows alongside your body. Keep the elbows bent, bring the arms up. Elbows in. Release the block. Step your back foot forward. Touching chair pose. Hands touch down, earth or blocks. Left foot back, left knee down. Same lunge, front foot dragging back, back glute engaged. Rising up, maybe extending up through your arms. Hands touch down, feel free to use your blocks. Tuck your back toes under and lift your back knee off the ground. Runner's lunge. Isometrically dragging your feet in toward each other. Let's keep the left hand down, right fingertips to right temple, rotating to twist, twisting to the right. Good, and then unwind. Just 2 more times. Hips are quiet, hips are still, rotating through my spine. Good, unwind your spine. And then let's just stay in this runner's lunge for a moment and do a little shift forward and back. Beautiful. From here, back foot forward. Step your right foot back, right knee down beneath the hip. Front foot dragging back, back glute engaged, rising up, maybe extending up through your arms. Hands touch down. Tuck your back toes under, lifting your back knee off the ground in runner's lunge. Back glute, squeeze it. Bottom ribs in. Keep your right hand down, left fingertips to left temple, rotating through the spine. Don't disturb the pelvis at all. Keep it still. 3 times, rotating in and out. And then at the end of that one, stay in your runner's lunge and just find a little shift forward and back. Good. From here, we'll lower the knee down, bring the other knee back, and come into child's pose. Long, slow breaths. Rising up to all fours. You can always be on fists if your wrists are miserable here. Starting from the pelvis with cat-cow. So you can tilt the tailbone up, try to work one vertebra at a time through the back bend. Head rises last. And then keep everything the same. Just start tucking the tailbone, tucking the pelvis. Again, working from lower spine up. Head drops last. Try that a couple more times on your own. It's about quality, not quantity. Eventually coming back to neutral spine. Take your time. Tuck your toes under. Try to walk your toes a little closer to your knees. Okay, you might simply lean your hips back and feel like that is enough for my feet. Or you can start to walk your hands back, weight bearing more into the feet, maybe coming to sit up onto the heels. I always have this little rebel toe that doesn't want to join the others. So you can use your hand to help that. And wherever you are, just breathe. Okay, now we'll come into tall kneeling. So if it's available to keep toes tucked, do. If it's not working for you, no problem. Just have tops of the feet flat. Make sure toes are pointing straight back, not in toward each other. Let's bring the hands to the sacrum lower back area and try to hug the elbows in toward each other. And use the hands to give the body this message to really drop the tailbone down. Engaging your glutes is a really good idea here. And then we're finding a little bit of a lean back. It's just a deepening of the knee bend. And then back up. Try that a few more times. How far back you go is up to you. But try to keep your body in like a plank and just bend the knees. So not camel today. Mega quad work potentially. A couple more times. And then at the end of that one, whenever it is for you, come back into child's pose, but make it your widest child. So wide, wide through the knees. Okay, from here, please lie on your back again. Plant your feet. We're coming back to revisit our figure 4 in a slightly different way. So left ankle on right thigh, up by the knee. Arms to a T, shoulders down. Rock to the inner edge of your right foot, so the legs drop over to your left. And then rock to the outer edge of the foot. Maybe the left foot touches down. Couple more times, side to side, then we'll stay. Next time the legs drop over to the left, let them stay there. You can use your left foot ankle to encourage the right knee to move away from you. A little downward pressure, a little away pressure, and digging the inner edge of your right foot into the floor and squeeze your right glute. All that to help open what we've worked on so much today. Go ahead. Bring the leg up to center. Keep the left ankle on the right thigh. Lower the legs to the right. If left foot doesn't reach the floor, see if you can put a block or something underneath it so that it can ground. You can encourage the left knee to move away from you. And maybe left arm alongside the ear, reaching opposite. Make your way back to center, arm to the T, feet to the ground. And then right ankle on left thigh, side to side, the legs. Next time, legs drop over to the right. Let's keep them here. You can press the inner edge of your left foot into the ground, squeeze your left glute, and use your right ankle foot area to help the sense of the thigh bone or the left knee lengthening away from you and maybe rooting down a little bit too. Don't be aggressive. Bring the legs up and over to your left. Right foot grounding on something. Right arm alongside the ear. Right knee, send it away from you. Coming back to center. And let's grab the block for a supported bridge. Feet planted. Block under your sacrum. Feet can stay planted, or you can stretch legs up toward the ceiling or heels on the ground. Maybe arms up around the head. In a slow and mindful way, come all the way down into Shavasana. Coming back into the river of breath. And start to move and stretch your body gently. And when you feel ready, rise up to a seat. Let's take a breath in. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace, peace, peace. Thank you.